Okay, that's way too much fun.
Okay, you guys want to tell us where we are?
So we're here at the Brown Palace Hotel in downtown Denver. We're going to go on a ghost tour here about 8 p.m. tonight. And then we're going to come back here and do some investigation around the hotel.
Who are we here with?
Hi, I'm Rosalind Adams. You can call me Rose. And yeah, we're looking forward to a good night.
So Rose has done some research on the Brown Palace and some of its hauntings, so why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
So the hotel opened in August 12th of 1892. So there are many hauntings that take place in this hotel. The main reported sightings are of a socialite whose name was Louise Crawford Hill, and she lived in room 904. They used to talk about her on the tours. However, during that time, they were also renovating the 9th floor where she had lived, and they started receiving calls from her room. There have also been sightings of a string quartet in the main dining room, which is now called the Ellington Room. There is also a uniformed waiter who often inhabits the service elevator.
So do either of you have any feelings being in here or, stepping into the hotel?
Seemed pretty friendly to me.
Yeah, so far, yeah. I don't like being up real high, so that kind of creeps me out a little bit. Quite the view down there.
So one other thing, it might be kind of interesting tonight because this is such a fancy place, trying to conduct an investigation around here.
Yeah, without getting dirty looks or kicked out or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right. We're on our way to Union Station to meet up with the Dark Side of Denver Ghost Tour.
Dun dun dun.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank you all for choosing Dark Side of Denver Ghost Tours. On behalf of myself and the entities that I'll be speaking on tonight, welcome. I will share stories of vicious murders, crimes of passion, infidelities, houses of ill repute, and other nefarious dealings. Why did your smile get bigger during that list? I swear, it just kept getting bigger as I said that stuff.
So we're in the basement of Union Station where our tour guide just informed us that at one point back in the early 1900s, was it? That some prisoners were locked up here and a water pipe burst and they all drowned overnight when they found just floating bodies.
Oh, just like gas?
It said 9.
No, sir,
Gasp is interesting.
As I was telling that story a couple months ago in this space, we received those scratches on her back.
Was she wearing a coat when it happened?
No, this was late summer.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, she was just standing there like you guys were. Next thing I know, she's looking over her shoulder, freaking out a little bit more, getting a little bit more confused, reaching back there. And then as we started walking out this way, everyone was like, oh my God, look at her back.
Wow.
Yeah. This happened in our last location. This happened probably about 3 weeks ago. And it was underneath his shirt and his coat.
Okay.
Yeah, and what was crazy about him is I've never seen anybody so excited to get scratches on their back. That are older than this tonight. And you're standing in right now Denver's very first grocery store. That's what this building was built for. It was the Brown Mercantile Grocery Store back then. They used to sell the Solitaire grocery product line. You can see some of the artifacts, remnants of when it was a grocery store up there. And it's now obviously something else. Which is another reason why I wanted to bring you in here, was just to take a second to show off one of Denver's very best bookstores. This is the Tattered Cover.
The first thing that this said when I stepped in here was truck. He just said this
This
was
is a loading dock.
Loading dock. And I'm finding a very common experience amongst them all. They have a hard time keeping the books on the shelves here. And I don't just mean because they are hot sellers. They legitimately have books that fly off the shelf on a regular basis. Unfortunately, this is the part of the tour where I feel it's necessary to give you a warning. I told you with the Oxford Hotel in that little room in the basement, that's an area where some people who are extra sensitive might feel things. Inside this room is where my non-believers and my skeptics have felt things. With that said, let's go see the cave.
As we walked up here, it felt like there was still someone behind me. Okay. like even before you came?
I think it feels heavy. There's this really cool blast of air coming in.
Now, it might be uncomfortable to think about, but there have been numerous times when there have been dead bodies stacked from the floor to the ceiling all the way around us. The room never took off.
Feeling that.
Comedians who have performed in this room use
There's a wall right here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just heard like sound like tapping on it,
It could be pipes at this point.
but it wasn't pipes. It was like
There's a pipe.
no. It came from right here.
So we're at the Wing Coop Brewery, first of all. During the discussion, we were talking about this little girl, Sarah, who cries in the back corner. And he was talking about wanting to do a ghost hunt with some professional investigators. He was talking about toys that he wanted to bring for the little girl. I got this image in my head of a rag doll. I told him that it really should be a rag doll that they bring along with the other toys.
So I felt like in the basement here that there was definitely something there, and it was kind of like hiding. You know, I kept moving around. I felt it in different areas, but it was always back in the corner somewhere where we couldn't really get to it.
My name is Brooke. I'm the owner-operator of Dark Side of Denver Ghost Tours. And when we first started the tour, I had, no really idea how many paranormal things would happen on this tour. I mean, I designed it just to be a historical walk through downtown Denver. You'd hear some ghost stories, you get into some cool buildings, you'd see some cool architecture. But then we started having people hear things, getting touched by things. We've had people get scratched on the tour. But when you see the reactions of these people that have these events happen, it usually is like, okay, they've had something very special happen. They're kind of overwhelmed by it. They're excited by it. They don't really know what to think. This is stuff that, you see in the movies. And when you see it in the movies, it's a movie. It's no big deal. But when it happens to you in real life, it really takes a minute to kind of, process and, wrap your head around what just happened.
So you came from a very haunted city in
Charleston, South Carolina. That's where I learned how to do it.
So how does Denver kind of stack up?
Honestly, I loved Charleston. Charleston is a beautiful, historic city, and there's a lot of old spirits and old energy rampant through that city. Denver is different. Denver has a lot of that older energy, but a lot of it is of the darker kinds, the darker styles. Streets have been laid out in symbols. Buildings have been built on certain points. Capitol building has a certain amount of stairs. It's all this stuff that goes around sacred geometry, old rituals, old ceremonies, and things like that. A lot of these buildings were designed to bring those negative spirits and energies into them. When you get to studying the elite, the rich, the 1%, a lot of them are involved in the occult. They believe that's where they get their power from. They believe that's what keeps their money there. They believe what keeps them, in control.
So after this, we're going back to the Brown Palace Hotel.
Sure, Brown Palace Hotel, beautiful place.
Do you know much about what we're getting ourselves into there?
Not too much. I really do. When you take this tour, it'll seem like I'm a historian of downtown Denver. I know everything, but I'll be honest, I learned exactly what I needed to know for this tour and this area that we go through. However, Brown Palace is a very famous hotel. It's been around for a long time. The same architect that built some of the buildings that we went through tonight on this tour were also involved in the making of the Brown Palace. It's known for having its tunnels underneath it. It's also known that these tunnels are still in operation under there. They have some of the more open tunnels in that area. And it's been known to be kind of a place where maybe, in the heyday, when the 40s, the 50s, the end of that, that jazz era, when, Hollywood was really coming into its own, the Brown Palace was known as a place, if you were somebody of fame, money, fortune, that you could go there and you could do pretty much whatever you want and it wouldn't leave your room. And so there's a lot of these old stories of things going on in these hotels that,
Things gone wrong.
Things gone wrong, and things being covered up and things like that.
So we're taking a little break from our ghost tour, in between our ghost tour and our hotel investigation. We're waiting for it to get a little later, hotel to calm down a little more. In the meantime, we made a little snack run And we've got the new Mexican jalapeno M&Ms we're gonna try and see what this is all about. Now Anna loves jalapenos, so she'll probably love them.
I don't know if I don't like
Okay.
M&Ms, so.
They look like normal M&Ms. Ready? Yep, that's jalapeno.
Not a fan.
So it's
Like
what,
12:30, almost 1.
12:30, almost 1 in the morning.
It's 1. So this way, we're really lucky. We're right across from the service elevator. This is where a waiter has often been seen wearing the old-fashioned form of dress. But I don't know what floor it was seen on, but this is it. So an interesting thing about the 9th floor of this building is that it is the top floor for guests, but it also is completely glassed off from the rest wall. The first 8 floors all are open to the atrium.
This thing's nuts. It's just
So right here is the room where Louise Crawford Hill stayed for 15 years of her life, from 1940 to 1955, when she passed away. And this is the room from which they were getting phone calls.
So we're now gonna make our descent all the way down there. No one is there except the receptionist. We're in the lobby, front.
Yep. So Ellington's is the new name for one of the grand ballrooms, and it is where the quartet is said to have been playing. And when questioned about it, they said, "Oh, don't worry about us. We live here." So, ghosts.
I don't work here.
So I don't think we're gonna have much luck with the staff here, getting any information.
They don't seem like they're willing to talk about it.
Nope.
It seems like here they want to keep hauntings like pretty hush hush and like low key, even though it's like on the website.
And in other news, the obelisk said leather while sitting on a leather couch, So there's this thing that some ghost hunters came up with, this method called the Estes method, and it's where you plug in headphones into whatever radio you have that's going to do the spirit box, and then the person has the headphones on. They can blindfold them. Noise canceling headphones are the best, and then the other people ask questions, and then the person with the headphones on just says whatever they hear coming through the spirit box. So we're gonna try that experiment tonight. The brown, give me that last word.
Drink. Problem. Help. War.
You need help? Are you trapped? Yes or no?
Speak up. No. What the hell?
No, you're not trapped.
What the hell was right?
Deeper.
The spirit appears to be telling us to speak in certain ways.
Yes. What kind of terrible things did you see?
Hat.
It's pretty awful.
Hi.
Hi.
How was that?
So how is that for you?
It worked really well.
Okay.
In some ways, I wonder if my hearing disorder sort of helps because my brain automatically hears certain sounds and puts it together. There wasn't much consistency at all.
Okay.
There wasn't a voice that continued over, but it was really interesting because it get very talkative and then static, and then talkative and then static.
Well, we had an amazing ghost tour, ghost walk. Hotel's pretty quiet. So I don't know. I don't know. The mystery continues, but we'll be back to Denver and pick up the chase.
So we made it through the night at the
Yep.
Brown Palace.
That wasn't hard.
Nope, not a lot going on.
We ate like kings and queens.
Yes, we most certainly did.
We went on the history tour at the Brown Palace, which was really cool. Do you guys think that the Brown Palace is haunted?
I think it makes sense that it would be, but I don't know that we found out enough to tell for sure.
Or experienced?
I didn't experience anything. It doesn't mean there isn't stuff there. I mean, the fact that there is copper and onyx and a lot of these other like sandstone and marble, those are all things that are associated with hauntings, but there weren't any manifestations while we were here, and there was no palpable energy changes.
Palpable energy. Wow.
Okay, so that's a wrap. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye!
First met them and was talking with them, I told them that one of the things I was looking for in the jungle
There's feet there.
was there feet? I couldn't see the feet. I was hoping I saw feet on that one.